Satan in Calvary, in the cross of Calvary, when he was thinking that it's the end of God, yet it is the start of his victory. Last Thursday, we were talking about, if you were listening to the message, what was the topic last Thursday? Last Thursday. What's the topic? Notebook. What's the topic? Anybody? No, wala na. Lost. Lost in wonder. Lost in wonder, love, and praise. What's the topic? Thursday? Love is love. About what? Marks of true love. Marks. They are the marks. Meaning, you don't have to say it. The marks will reveal the true love that you possess. So, the number one mark is, number one, a deep desire to glorify God. Sabi ni Sir Jim. That's the mark that you have. The love of God and the love that you possess in your life is there in your heart because there is a mark of that desire to glorify God. And so Paul says, in everything that we do, whether we eat or we drink, the purpose is to glorify God. When you come to school, that is one. You come to school, purpose, what? To find sweetheart? To get money from your parents? To get money from your supporter? Oh. So Paul is clear in telling us, if you have that love of God in your heart, in everything that you do, whether you eat or you drink or you sleep, what you do in your life, the purpose is to glorify God. Meaning, if you do these things with the aim, with the goal of glorifying the Lord, what things you lack will be given. It will be given back. So, desire to glorify God. So, we check it. What you do, when you eat to glorify God, that you eat so that you will be satisfied and full. Oh, you'll be sick with high blood. Kain ka baboy. When you talk to friends, glorify God. So you cannot chismis. You cannot say bad words. Because if you have that desire to glorify God, the words that will hurt, you drop it down. Number two. One is glorify God. Two is unfailing love for others. It includes the enemy. So we say, how can we love our enemy? Because he has sinned. If we are friending and loving our enemy as if we are permitting sin, no. We say, we hate the sin, we love the person. So when we say something to correct, that is loving. When you are scolded, those who are having self-pity in themselves, I'm scolded. The purpose is to drop sin and help you have a life is straight. When you are scolded, do not think that it is for you, for your own bad. You are scolded so that you will realize, I need to stop sinning. I need to have a changed life. It is scolding us, the Bible telling us, God disciplines us because He loved us. You see, you are scolded because you are loved. Number three. Unswerving loyalty to God. Meaning our loyalty to the Lord will continue on. It won't fail. Where's the measure? Up to giving our life to Him. When there is a decision to give your life, go on. That's because you are loyal to Him. So this life we owe to Him. We give it back. And the Bible tells us, he who keeps his life will lose it. you will give your life to God because you say you're danger and it will be the end of your life, you will die. He who kept his life will lose it, but he who gave his life will find it. There. In here, you will surrender your life to Him. I'm the owner of my life. I will use it the way I like it. If you do that, later on you lose your life. And there is a phrase which says, "He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep, to lose what he to gain what he cannot lose." So it's a good phrase to give us a forethought that you are not a fool if you give your life, because you cannot keep your life. If you give your life to God, God could better use it the best He can. He has a will for each one of us. Now, this morning, to continue on the theme, living a life of love, our topic this morning is God's love examined. We are examining God's love. Not only viewing it, but we are examining it deeply. Then we find out that the greatness of God's love, when examined, is exposed. It is open to us to behold. Our verse supporting is the basis of our message this morning is found in the most famous verse of the Bible, or the heart verse of the Bible. What is the heart verse of the Bible? The center. John 3:16. I expect you to memorize that. Okay, ready? Ada. Tidak mo na kita. Okay, ready? Begin. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. There was one preacher, the famous D.L. Moody, M-O-O-D-Y. He's the famous preacher in America. He happens to meet a young pastor in England by the name of Morehouse. He was so young. And so when they met, the old preacher in America told the young preacher, "If you happen to visit us in US, I'll permit you, I'll give you an opportunity to preach at my church." But truly, because he was so young, and he has not yet heard about how he preached his doctrines, he doesn't know. So he said, just pretend only. Just to say, if you have opportunity to visit us in America, I will permit you to preach. But he is not actually thinking that he will just to say a good words or just an encouragement. And it so happened that the young pastor in England went to America, and when Moody heard it, he was so shocked. Oh. And there was a message that he will visit immediately the church, an opportunity to preach. But he has another assignment. Moody has another church preaching assignment. So he told his wife, if the young pastor come here in our church, okay, let him preach. I don't really meant that he should come and preach. But because I have given my words, permit him. Because I'll be going to another church to preach. Later on, after that, after returning home, he asked his wife, "Where's the young pastor?" The young pastor is still preaching. Has been preaching for 1 to 7 days already. What? He is so vigorous in his preaching that he continued on, and his topic is only one. John 3:16. He preached it for 7 times. And you visit him, you go there, you visit him, he is still preaching. And so, D.L. Moody went there silently and observed. And then immediately the young pastor, it was already his time to preach, he said, I have been looking for a verse good for us to study, but I never find one except this John 3:16. So again, we will preach on this text, John 3:16. So rich, so full of wonderful message that we need to learn John 3:16. So, D.L. Moody, an old pastor, was shocked. Why is it that he's been preaching John 3:16 for 7 days? Could you do that? 7 days you use the same verse again and again and again. And this man stood up and said, I cannot find any beautiful verse to use as I will be preaching you this 7 times. I find that John 3:16 is so full of God's message that it is not exhausted, not depleted. It has full of God's message, just like the message that we have heard through the song, through the professional number. So this morning we will consider John 3:16, the famous verse, and we thought it's already exhausted. Kung sa tayo pa, wala, smoke na, pudpud na. Oh. So it says here, as we study John 3:16, we will find seven truths to consider in this verse, in that verse John 3:16. Number 1, when the Bible said that, it tells us, for God so loved the world. What is the truth that is seen? Number 1, God's love is unconditional. It is not limited. God has no condition. God has no condition given to you so that He will love you. There is no limit. There is no requirement. It says here, God will love us without any basis of what we are and what we should be, and the reason is not in us, the reason is in God's heart. The reason why God loved us, because it is in His being. He looked us. The reason is not in you. The reason God found is not in us. The reason is in the heart of God. I love you. I remember when I was in Bible school, there was a priest converted, and he went to our Bible school to study. And this priest, because he's already out, she got married. But we wonder, why is it that she married a very ugly woman? So dark, and she cannot even keep her hair. There's no beauty in her. She's the maid. She's working in the farm. And so one time in our funny time, we asked Father Bulao, why is it that you choose to marry her? So that when you walk together, the girl choose to leave behind, because if they will walk together, people will laugh. The Father Bulao is so handsome and has a cute face. Very, very handsome. So that when the girl or his wife will walk together, they will wonder, why is that your wife? Cannot be. And so we ask, why is it that you choose her to be your wife? You know what's the answer? Because he said, love the unlovely. God's heart is like that. We will love the person who is not supposed to be loved, as if he is. There is no reason in her. Father says, there is no reason that I will love her. The reason is in my heart. Here. You examine this. To you, we have a rule here. Our goal this January is to study first. we prioritize the goal of studying first. So do not involve it with sweetheart. But you cannot advance the Philippines. So you cannot afford to study without a sweetheart. So some of you disobey. So you know the consequence if you continue on disobeying the rules. Now, because you have chosen a sweetheart, what is the reason why you choose your sweetheart? You have your own reason. And the reason is in the girl. You girls, when you choose your boyfriend, the reason is in that boy whom you have chosen. So that, if I ask you, what's the reason why you choose that girl? Because he is so sexy. Because the eyes is so cute. Because she has a dimple. When she smiles, my heart is captivated. My heart becomes a prisoner. But the problem, you know, with that's a temporary love, because when that reason is gone, when it is changed, because, you know, we get sick, and things could happen, we don't know. Later on, your love is also gone. Your love will vanish away. And so, here we will see that God's love is unconditional. There is no condition, there is no basis. And so we wonder why God loved us. We will be living in, there is even a song which says, why have you chosen me? Maybe one of you will be, group will be having a special number, will choose that hymn. Why have you chosen me? Out of millions, your child to be. Why me? Why me? Tignan ko, wala no reason in me here. I'm full of bad characters, bad things. All the bad is in me. I'm a wretched man. I'm compared to a worm. Why did you choose me? But that's the truth. When God said, for God so loved the world, the reason is not in us. Our spiritual condition, our moral predisposition, and all of this is not the basis. Because if this is the basis of God loving us, that we will fail. So our behavior, even our attitude towards God, we do like that. We have been disobeying Him, and the Bible says we are like a lost sheep, wanting our way, our sinful will, our stubborn will decides. If you behave like that, the person will not get angry. Tingnan mo sa papa mo. Instead, your father will be smiling. They will grind their teeth up when you behave like that. But we have been doing that to God again and again. Now, the Greek word for cosmos, that word cosmos, is defined as the ungodly multitude, the people. The whole mass of men alienated from God. We were separated from God. Yet God loved us. He has chosen us. And therefore, when we were separated, we were hostile, we were enemies to God. But God, that's why He said, love your enemies. And experience this. When I have chosen you before your condition, you were alienated, separated from me. You were my enemies. You hate me. Yet I have chosen you and love you. So, this is the world that God loved. It doesn't say, I love you because you are good. When we sing during December, see Santa Claus will be coming because you are good and He will give you gifts. No. God is different. He loved even though there's no reason in you to be loved. And here we also see that God doesn't love us because we are the descendants of Abraham. He will make us if we will put our faith in Him. And God doesn't love us because we are saints. You know pretty well that we are bad from head to foot. When you consider yourself, even those who are behaving, you just control yourself. But in us, there was one author says, there is an animal-like feeling in our heart, only tamed and controlled. Later on, when we are angry, it will come out. The beast in us will, just like the lion. Have you seen the message where the heart, there are animals, yeah? There are animals, the goat, the pig in our hearts. We behave like that. The lion in us will get angry. We cannot hear explanation. We box each other, just like what happened in that room. That's the beast in us. Untamed. For the time being, we behave, but there's a time that it will come out. We choose words, but later on we are angry. Lightning will come out of our mouth. Yet, God still loves us. Because God so loved the world. So that's number one. God's love is unconditional. Number two, God's love is sacrificial. When He said, for God so loved the world that He gave. God's love is willing to sacrifice. He gave, and He gave, and He gave. This is also a song which says, He giveth, and giveth, and giveth, again, and again, and again. God's love will never stop giving. How about you? Sweetheart, some others, I love you because I know you have support from your father. Weekly, he sends you money, so I love you, so that you will support me also. You will share your baon with me. Some of you. What's the reason why you choose her? Because if I choose her, my merienda time is free. Some of you. You choose the woman who has rich money coming from parents, full of money from their parents, so that you will be free. If I will not choose her during merienda time, my tummy will be empty. For a reason, you choose. You love her for a reason. But God's love is sacrificial, willing to sacrifice, ready and willing to suffer. God's love is outgoing. God's love, as it stays inside, He goes out to give, and to give, and to give, and to give, and to give. Never stop giving. Even though you are not paying attention, He will continue on giving, and giving, and giving. Not only giving, serving and sacrificing. To sacrifice so that the outcome, the result will be good, beneficial for us. So here, this is the nature of true love, which is giving. God's nature of love is giving, not selfish. Selfish. There is no selfish love. Selfish love is a false love. It is selfish from the heart. How did God love us? Yes, God loved us by giving, by serving, by sacrificing. So that's number two. Number one, He does not limit. There's no condition. There's no requirement. First, sabi sang babae, will you love me? The girl will say, if you shave your beard and makes you look good, then I will love you. So the boy will buy Gillette. Pag maglakad, if we will be walking on the street, hindi kita mapangalsada. Matawanan ako ng papa kag mama kag mga tao kay pangit ka. If you wear your dress properly, tuck in, shabby, you cannot even wash your shirt dirty. your sock smelling. If you change that, change your behavior, use clean clothes, then maybe I say yes to you. Oh, that's conditional. But God, I see this in Miss Coriel, the director in Laguna, deaf school in Laguna. We went to Kaliling in a small barrio. He saw a deaf girl with this and with this. And immediately Miss Coriel hugged her. Doesn't matter the smell. Has not yet taken a bath. That's the love of God. Teacher, you can do that. You cannot even love guys, I mean. Sabi ni guys, I love Ace. No respond. I-embrace ka, pag-respond ka. Sabi ni Ace ka, pantay ka po. Okay. Sacrificial number 3. When the verse tells us, for God so loved the world, there's no condition. For He gave, God's love is sacrificial. God's love is valuable. Very valuable. Value of a thing increases when it is so rare. When you cannot, because it's only one. Only. This is only my love. My only son. So it becomes valuable. He's the only one. Maybe if God has 10 sons, He will spare the 9 and give one. Doesn't matter. But God, even though He's only one son, yet He is willing to give. Only one? Kunin mo pa? You take it. The only one I have, you will take it. I will give it to you to die on the cross. That's valuable love. So, giving out of abundance is so easy. But kung marami kang tira, it's easy to give 1,000. But if you have only 1,000 and you give it all, then it's so hard. It is easy to give when you are living in abundance. When you have plenty of money. But you have only one, and yet you give it. That is another story. Giving out of poverty is altogether a different thing. Only one son, and yet God is willing to give. Meaning God's love is so valuable. It is so precious. Number 4, He gave His only Son. Another truth is that God's love is so personable. Meaning, what? It's not merely, God's love is not merely a concept. It is not an abstract thing that you cannot see. It is not only a philosophy or a theology. You could see, visualize it through His Son. It says here, God's love is manifested. It was shown through His Son, Jesus Christ, the person of Jesus. And Jesus is the love of God in human form. God's love is made human. God's love become flesh in the person of Jesus. We see here 3 qualities of personality. Why can we say that God's love is personable? It is not words, it is not ideas, it is not thing that cannot be seen. It is manifested in the person of Jesus Christ. And Jesus Himself is the love of God the Father. 3 qualities we have here. You are a person if you have these 3 qualities. 1, you can feel. You can feel.